Yeah, I saw so they on the
Panda Express every 50
there's
miles.
there's like a Trebuchet subreddit, and there's a little bit of a cross subreddit thing the other day between the Trebuchet subreddit and the Donald, because the Donald has been suggesting that a Trebuchet might be a good way to send the Mexicans back, and they've got these diagrams of like how a Trebuchet works. And then, they're going, and then the Trebuchet people thought that was really funny. And they were like, look, we're not suggesting we're going to hurt anyone. Of course, a big, soft, cushy area on the other side of the wall will be provided. There'll be a foam pit. And they're like, when the Mexicans send their siege machines, they're not sending their best. They're sending low-grade catapults. Their weights are not offset correctly. The payload is not being released. It's bad siege machines. We send our best. Just going. So.
There's a whole forum of people talking about trebuchets.
Yeah, I'm into it too. I like that.
My God, wow.
You can build yourself a pretty cool fucking trebuchet for a few $1,000s, and this is something that can throw a large rock or piece of steel or whatever a long way.
Yeah.
A person, yes, that would work too. So I have some interest in trebuchets. I've always thought that that would be a cool project. To build. Like, what if I had my own trebuchet? That'd be neat. Something that could lob, say, an engine block sized thing. What if you had something that could throw 500 pounds of iron and steel 300 yards? And it doesn't use gunpowder or propellant. It's ropes and wood and a counterweight. You make the counterweight with water. You could just have some containers, fill them up with water. Oh, we're going to move the trebuchet, drain the water out. Sure. You drain the water out. Now you just got a big piece of wood you can wheel around. So you could have some fun with a trebuchet.
I actually watched a special. It must have been like 5 Thanksgivings ago.
Did he throw a piano in England?
Maybe they did it some
I've
point.
Seen what
the one
you're
I was
talking
thinking
about.
of, maybe. It was like the 10th annual pumpkin heaving.
Pumpkin chunkin'.
Pumpkin chunkin'. And they had like certain ones where it was just you rolled a pumpkin into this basically rail gun, and then it just and it fires it out. Like
there
that,
are 3 classes.
And then, Jesus Christ. Okay, and then there was the trebuchet class, and then now, what am I explaining it for? What are the 3 classes? And
so
what
the 3 classes, you have the air cannons. They use compressed air, and these are the most powerful of the pumpkin chunkers. They have very long barrels, very big thing.
Are they
lots of
or chuckers.
Chunkers, pumpkin chunkin', so it rhymes. So it's those use compressed air, and they can shoot like a fucking mile, like 5,000 feet, I think. Then you have the trebuchets and catapults. These are machine operated. They use springs. They use wound rope. They use counterweights, that sort of thing. The catapults, trebuchets, things like that. And then the really cool outsiders, and there's only a handful, are the centrifugal machines. These things have a long arm that starts rotating slowly, but slowly picks up speed until you have this really long arm, and then they release at the perfect moment. Those machines are much more expensive, harder to use, and more dangerous. The real thing is that pumpkin chunking has been shut down for several years now. Maybe it's new. Maybe they fixed it this year or like recently. But what happened
Obama.
was it was close. Under Trump, maybe you wouldn't be able to sue the makers of the people who run the pumpkin chunking operation because you overturned your ATV checking out a pumpkin and hurt yourself, because that's what happened. Somebody was going downrange on an ATV, as they do, to get the measurement, the distance traveled for the pumpkin. He wrecked, he hurt himself really badly, then he sued the people who put on pumpkin chunking, and there's been no more pumpkin chunking for many years now. And it's a real shame, because when I was in high school, I was really into it. We had the Discovery Channel cassette, and we'd watch it in shop class, and we had plans to make our own, and it was a whole thing that never came to be.
Well, that sounds like not like the kind of hobby I'd want to get involved in, but that one that would be fun to pop in if a friend was involved in it.
Sure,
every once in a while.
In North Carolina, you can't sue someone if you hurt yourself doing recreational stuff on their land. Now, pumpkin chunking might be different because you might pay for access, and if you pay, then there's a higher expectation of the safety and taking care of. But if you go and play soccer on my land or something, and I'm not billing you for it, my right for keeping you safe is the same as my obligation to keep you safe is the same as mine of that of a trespasser. Provided I don't have fucking bear traps laying around in the yard, you could kill yourself and I'm fine.
It says here the lawsuit was filed in 2013. a volunteer spotter at the 2011 event. He was on an all-terrain vehicle going through the field to help determine the distance. And what happened to him? He alleged that the
pumpkin.
Oh, that would be insane. Liable for serious spinal injury he suffered when the ATV he was riding flipped. He lost his job and had great difficulty walking after the incident, according to court documents. So this is a volunteer guy at the event, wrecked a four-wheeler while going to look for where the pumpkin landed, and he hurt himself and sued back in 2011, and they settled in 2013. I don't know what the current shape of the sport or event, whatever you want to call it, is. I see a Huffington Post thing here from 2016 that says 2 injured in horrific pumpkin accident at Pumpkin Chunkin Festival in Delaware.
How?
Yeah.
In this case, an air cannon called the Pumpkin Reaper exploded as it launched a pumpkin, with a trap door and other parts flying into the air, according to footage posted to YouTube. I'll look for that video. A 39-year-old woman who's not been named was struck by falling pieces in the head. It arcs down on the woman who's running away as it hits her. I got to find this video. And it looks like a 56-year-old man suffered non-life-threatening injuries. I'm looking for some video of like the shit going down. Pumpkin Chunkin exploded as it launched a pumpkin. Oh, the video's private, of course. Well,
you know, you're tampering my enthusiasm for being a pumpkin chucker.
I want to see somebody grievously injured with their pumpkin when Pumpkin Chunkin goes wrong.
Oh, that's a good video. I've seen what they do. Now, what I have seen is they take that big air cannon that shoots the pumpkins and level it and aim it right at a car. And then they shot the car in the door with the pumpkin, and it really fucked the car up. It put a big hole in it.
You know, ever since that one episode where I didn't, the drinking episode where I missed the first 90 minutes.
Yes.
I still have like a PTSD from that.
Good.
I check that recording like every 90 seconds. I'm on top of that shit. It's never happened before.
Because that was a one strike and you're out thing. From now Kyle's leaving, so he won't be able to back me up.
You don't need that so much.
You know what I've always wanted to do, and I don't know if there's any way to make this some sort of PKA thing or not, but it's just something I've always wanted to do is build a trebuchet or a catapult, like a big one, like one that could throw legit rocks, like could throw 500-pound stones or something.
You could start with a branch wood shop. That would be pretty feasible, right?
Yeah. Do you know anything about trebuchets?
Huh? Do I know anything about trebuchets?
I know this. I'm an engineer and I can build anything.
Well, I understand how a trebuchet works, and I think the easiest way to do one would be to make the counterweight water, so that you can just you form the container that is the counterweight, and then you pump the water in rather than moving a big heavy counterweight into position. So I think a water counterweighted French trebuchet would be the way to go for but I think you'd need to be an engineer to make it, because I think it's a lot more complicated than a catapult that's using coiled rope or springs or something like that.
I think we just flat out copy a design.
Oh, totally. We're not design. We're not going to. Yeah,
get a design team on board to.
But
there's some other engineer invented it. We just copy it. That's what the great ones do.
Yeah, I always thought that'd be cool though. Just I don't know, throw rocks at a giant brick wall or at a house or at a car. A car would be fun, right? Especially if the car was rigged to explode if struck with the rock. Wouldn't be that hard.
That does sound like fun.
But I think I've always thought they'd be really expensive with the lumber.
I don't know. You could probably find some old tobacco barn that's torn down.
I feel like it needs to be good lumber.
Have you ever Craigslist searched a trebuchet? Do you not think that's something that someone else might have that you could pick up?
I feel like you build one. I feel like the people who build trebuchets are literally I don't know, universities who are doing they have a class doing a project or something and they've got funding to do that, or there are competitions where people do that sort of thing, and I don't think anyone's in the market to build and sell trebuchets.
No, trebuchet.com, marketplace for trebuchets.
No, but I've always thought that'd be cool. Build
a Here's a trebuchet in Cincinnati. Post deleted by author.
Trebuchetsales.org.
Holy smokes! Here we are. This one's in
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Is that actually a site? Here we go. Craigslist always delivers.
Oh yeah, see, this is bitch mode. I'm literally thinking
this looks
5
pretty
times bigger than this.
That's pretty
Like, this
robust,
is-
though, this thing.
Oh no! Like the thing let me show you what I'm imagining here. Like I'm talking about something out of like Lord of the Rings. Like yeah, like why not? Let's build a legit one.
I just built this Merlin Trebuchet catapult a year ago for a school competition, which won us first place for firing across the entire baseball outfield at 50% weight capacity.
Lame.
We spent well over $300 in countless hours.
$300. That's a not a bad budget.
Gary. Holy shit! This thing is like a 10-minute drive from me.
There,
Oh, you know
look
it's
at
gonna be
that.
done.
Wow, you'd be a fool to pass it up.
All right. Look at this. Like I'm talking about like that big.
Is that what you're talking? That's
Kyle, that's like 100 feet tall. You
All
can't have.
I can't tell how big it is at all. There's nothing
Woody
there to
shop,
scale.
Woody shop would have to be the size of like a warehouse to be able to build that thing.
You can't.
Them things are
no.
massive. That
I
has a
don't know
ladder
if I-
going up to it.
Yeah,
the
it's a
ladder?
fucking siege machine. Like, yeah, look at the actual building materials though. It's not that much. It's really big timbers, but
Yeah.
there aren't that many of them.
Where's
it's fairly
the ladder?
simple.
I see nothing that gives me any concept of scale.
If you look at the first picture of the image search from Wikipedia, there's people next to them and there's a big ladder, and that gives you an idea of scale.
Oh, but it didn't open. It's the second one that he wants you to see.
I was looking. I went back and looked at all of the images.
I see.
Uh,
Yeah, the first
I
one
want
does
one
have
of these
a ladder.
really big fucking trebuchets. Not one of these that like three guys like throw together in a shop. And, like that's ridiculous.
No,
so what
Kyle,
are we
I
gonna
can
lob?
picture you wanting
I
to
gotta-
start this, and it's just gonna end up looking like this.
No. See, that's so lame. That's super lame.
These are
I don't
children.
yeah, dude. When I was a kid, we never mind. Look, I've got a cannon that'll shoot a bowling ball out of sight. So if we're gonna
I
build
know.
a siege machine, I want it to be able to fling a bowling ball like through a fucking car or like over a mountain or something. Like I want a legit trebuchet. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying fund it for me. I'm not saying I'll build it. But if I'm gonna build one, it would have to be a legit one. I wouldn't want one of those bitch-made
No
trebuchets.
half measures. You've got to go all out.
Absolutely.
I don't feel like if that smaller one, I feel like I could shoot it and do stuff with it. That bigger one, it would land on someone else's property. It would have to be in your dad's farm or something.
It would overshoot that. We'd have to go somewhere special.
It's 100
Need your friend's
acres.
18,000 acre plot of land.
It's
and
100
it needs to
acres,
be-
but that's only 2,000 feet in one direction the way it's plotted. I mean, well, I guess you could go at its best. I mean, I can almost shoot my bowling ball off that property if at its maximum. At a lot of angles, I can. But even if I go to the very far end of one side and shoot to the very far end of the other, I'm almost overshooting the property with the bowling ball mortar.
Yeah, then you shouldn't build a trebuchet that can fire something further than you even have use for.
Well, I figured if we could angle it, I could shoot into a tree line without like shooting over the tree line and taking out a water tower or something.
You're gonna shoot it the first time if you ever do make this, and you're gonna be like, all right, I think I can hit it like right at the bottom of that tree line, and it's gonna launch and be like comical. It goes like
I've done
6,000
so-
feet.
What's over that way?
Dude, that's happened so many
Nashville's
times.
over there.
Oh, that's Atlanta. Like,
That has literally happened to me so many times. Like so many times where like something awful like that has went down. I mean, the bowling ball mortar, of course, every now and then will just.
I
You don't know where it
one.
goes.
I won't tell the story, but yeah, it was like, well, I guess we'll find out in the news if they landed
Yeah.
someplace bad.
Yeah. Well, like I was shooting a gun one time, and the guy went through the whole spiel on how to operate it, and I knew how to operate it. But what he didn't say is hold on to this wheel right here, or it'll start, or the barrel will rise with each consecutive shot. Like nobody told me to hold on to the wheel, so the barrel rose on each consecutive shot, and we shot some shells about 7 miles that way. And I was just like,
7
like, what the fuck was that? I was like, what's going on? I was like, what's over that way? He's like, don't worry, there's nothing over there. And I was like, well, how far does that bullet go? He's like, 7, 8 miles, something like that. And then we go over there and like we see the first one and it's like blown a huge hole in the ground. And then the other one is like blown a tree in half. And then you see up high, the top of a tree is like blown out. And it's like, where'd the fourth bullet go, man? Where'd the fourth bullet go? And he's like, that way. And it's just like, just watch. We'll have hit like some sort of purebred, like $500,000 horse. Because he was like, I think they keep horses over there. Yeah, about 8 miles that way, there's a horse farm. They got all these racing horses. And he was just winding me up, of course. But in my head, I'm like, we're going to hit the fucking Kentucky Derby winner or something. And that son of a bitch is just going to explode.
Oh, God.
If one of you could just buy this place that I'm about to link, have you seen this? It's a ranch in Texas for sale, and it is bigger than New York and LA combined. And it's for sale. It's one place.
Really?
$725 million. So if you've got a few, you know, save it up or something.
Nah.
Yeah. Is that a bit low?
What?
So if you want to buy this place, this could host some cool adventures. You could invite everybody down. It would be private land. You could do whatever you like.
It would be neat to have that. That's almost $1 billion.
It's over 500,000 acres.
Who
It
can even
spans
afford
6 counties.
But I really feel like this will be a good investment. Like,
Yeah.
Years from now, they're going to be like, dude, can you believe Merca owns like a quarter of Texas? Like 500 million acres. Like it.
Yeah. I'd
So
be
there's
lonely. I wouldn't even want that.
56,000 acres of the estate has been developed for oil. There's 450,000 acres left untapped. And the people who are selling it are going to keep 12.5% of the mineral rights to any sale. The ranch employs 120 people, and several employees are multi-generational. So it's been a long-run thing, but I guess they just want to cash out because it's worth an absolute fortune.
Yeah, 725 billion. I can't even fathom that much. Like that's just crazy. I'm sorry, million. I said million by accident.
That is
bigger than New York and LA combined. That's
too much.
How many acres was it?
510,000 acres.
A tenth of that would be amazing. 51,000 acres would be like.
There's 30,000 acres of cultivated land, 1,000 of heads of cattle, hundreds of quarter horses, and 1,200 oil wells, alongside thousands of acres of unexplored land, according to the Dallas-based broker. Just imagine just being in the estate agent or the person who's selling this property on behalf of the owner. The amount of commission you would make just by selling this place. If you take a 1% commission, you're earning what? 72 million. No, 7.2.
Yeah.
7.25 million. That's insane.
That would be life changing.
Yeah. But yeah, if anybody watching PKA has $725 million, buy the place and then invite us all over. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
You need more than a golf cart buggy thing to travel around that place.
Check out this place for sale that we're talking about. Click on the most recent link. And someone's selling a ranch in Texas. It's bigger than LA and New York combined, the cities. And it's going for $725 million. $750 million. It's
500,000 acres.
That's like your own country. Like that's probably like what? Like that actually that is probably bigger than some European countries.
It's definitely your own state.
Yeah, it spans 6 counties.
I wonder what the taxes are like on that place. That's enormous. That's incredible. I wonder who the previous owner was. Was it Ted Turner? Like,
it was
the Wagoners
family.
or something.
Dan Wagoner. Began
the inventor of the wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge business. Fell off
Old
after a while.
family money right there.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see how many acres is Rhode Island. Rhode Island is America's smallest state. And shit, I thought I saw acres in here.
How big is something like Wales? Isn't Wales really small?
I'm just looking up that kind of stuff now.
So Rhode Island is 777,000 acres. And this place is 500,000 something acres. So it's about 2/3 the size of Rhode Island.
How big is Hawaii?
I don't know, but I think it's bigger.
I think Hawaii is definitely bigger.
So
yeah, you're right.
Wales,
It's you never see like Hawaii to scale next to the North American continent. It's always like out there on its little bubble.
Yeah.
And then Alaska's always like pictured as I don't know this big when in reality it's like that fucking big. It's just like I saw the other day, like they took a bunch of continents and they compared them to like North America and stuff, and it didn't make sense. Like Africa was either way smaller than we thought it was, than it appears, or way bigger.
Bigger.
In any case,
and Australia is way smaller than it seems.
Way smaller. Australia is much smaller. Yeah.
Wales is 130,000 acres, and that accounts for 8% of the United Kingdom.
That's outrageous. Very
130,000 acres. Wow. So this place would be like 3 of those.
Yeah.
In any case, that's an enormous parcel of land. For one owner, one guy to own.
Yeah, I'm gonna say too much.
I don't. You see, you don't have to live in the middle. Right?
You would make so much money off owning that place alone, due to the oil and the agriculture and everything around that.
Well, oil's not a. So here's the problem. You're not from Texas, and I'm not either. But I promise you, he's not. He doesn't have like a corn farm out there or wheat or anything. I bet that's arid desert like shit land.
So 56,000 acres has been developed for oil. 30,000 is agriculture. That's what it says in this article here.
And
so some of it
400,000 is garbage.
Yeah, 400,000 is pretty much like uninhabitable or undiscovered land mass.
Undiscovered. You don't know.
They said
he needs a golf cart.
The Comanches own that part.
I'm not joking. In here it says there's parts that haven't been.
I'm sure there's parts that haven't been like fully explored and like charted and stuff. That like even that guy. So that guy that I knew owned 18,000 acres.
18,000?
And it was so much that it just took hours to drive around it. And I don't mean cover every inch. I mean just look. You know, you go to this hilltop and you like look forever, and you're like all of that. And then you go to a hilltop way behind you, and you go, yeah, all of that too. And then you're like, go to this mountaintop that we don't even know if the vehicles are gonna, make it up it with this loose sliding rock. And he's like, you see those mountains over there? Them too. And it was just like, what don't you own? And it was like that scene from The Lion King. He's like, everything the light touches, Simba. like all of that shit out there is mine. He's like, and like it was such a surreal thing. But you're talking about something that's much bigger.
I'm interested.
They don't want you anymore.
Yeah, they don't want you back.
Money.
I saw a simulation showing the number of Starlink satellites. I had no idea. Guess how many there are. Like, all right, first of all, I don't know. Zach, please find how many Starlink satellites there are. But like, if I had guessed, I'd have been like, oh, I bet he's got like 20 of them up there, like all around the world.
Not because I know anything about it, but because I'm going off your vibe. That number is closer to 90.
I'm gonna guess that it's beyond that. It's like because they're I bet they're super tiny, right? They're not like. I don't imagine they're like. They're not huge, are they?
I'm
gonna go an
coffee cans.
An even 1,000.
I think they're like the size of like the back of a truck.
Make a bed of.
I'm already committed to 1,000, so I guess I'll stick
truck
with
bed.
Maybe like 800 or something. Probably closer to there.
Whoa! There are 3,005.
I win by default, honestly.
I told you. I saw that. I didn't guess because I saw the like graph, and it was a swarm of them around the Earth.
3,580 small satellites. You can see them?
Yeah, at night, if you have like a dark sky area, it's not light polluted, you can see them. There's just like little trains of lights that go across. People post them on like r/space sometimes. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I had no idea.
But eventually they're going to get brighter and brighter and more of them, and then we'll have groups saying, internet at what cost? You can't see the night sky. And they'll say, yeah, I can, right here online.
They are the night sky.
They are the night sky.
You joke, but that's a huge concern. Like the pollution of the space pollution? Around us. But no. All right, so not too long ago, a supposedly secret Russian satellite broke up in space and broke up in like 1,000 pieces. Those pieces are ranging in size from paint chips to maybe something as big as your monitor, right? Or bigger, I'm guessing. I'm just saying. But all this shit is moving at hyper speeds through the goddamn upper atmosphere. And like it makes again, it's a huge area out there, but they just keep doing shit like this. If we keep polluting that area, then space travel or especially like on the civilian side, can you imagine a paint chip hitting you at 17,000 feet per second?
A paint chip, I can't imagine. I don't know what that will do, but I do know some of the items we're talking about are like bolts, like a 1-inch bolt that maybe you see all the time. That thing moving at, did you say 17,000 feet per second? That's not a speed that I understand.
Yeah, that's so fast.
But I can tell you, if a bolt hit me, that would be like a 50 cal or something, but faster than a 50 cal. It's a
dude. If across the room you without a hard hat, I went like. You go, ow! Ah! like that's what a bolt is at. You can work 7 feet a second.
Haven't there been times where they did like a test to see if you like flip a coin off the top of a building to see if it's fatal? That's pretty fatal already. So like,
well, actually, so you've got terminal velocity, right?
It has to hit a very old.
So everything accelerates at the same rate in the atmosphere. Is what is it, 9.2 meters squared or something squared? Anyway, but things have terminal velocity because of the air. Humans' terminal velocity is about 150 miles per hour. So it doesn't matter how high I drop you from, you'll cap out around 150, 155, depending on your build and such, right? It'll vary a little. Core's the same thing. It's going to have sort of a terminal velocity, and it's not exactly deadly. I think Mythbusters did a thing with that because
how about
it was smart. I don't know the answer to every single item, but I know when it happens with a bullet, Kyle. Let's just keep dumping him with bullets. The misunderstanding is people imagine they're shooting straight up, and it's going to like go straight up and then stop and then go bottom up and fall straight down. But you'd have to be fucking Annie Oakley Master Chief to do that shit. And so what you're actually going to do is shoot at some angle, and then the wind is going to catch it as well. And it's going to be in a parabolic arc or whatever, and it's going to tag somebody 5 miles away and kill them because it's carrying a lot of energy when you shoot it at any angle for the duration.
I've heard that, and I'm sure you're right. It just doesn't, it's not what I expect. I would expect, like, so let's say 90 degrees is perfect, right? Or 180 from the ground. I would think that me eyeballing it, doing the best I could, would get to like 85 to 90, you know, like in that.
If you're trying to shoot straight up,
and
it'd probably be okay. I don't know. You can do the math. The math is like
80's not good enough, and I'm like, really? I kind of thought it would be, but
I don't know how to do the math at the top of my head, but I know it's some equations they figured out a few hundred years ago, and we could just really quickly figure out how many foot-pounds of energy that bullet's carrying at an 85-degree angle at a 45 ACP. Leaving the barrel
Professor.
Like we can mark this out. But I bet it was fucking smart is what it would come down to. But what's really interesting is when you're in space and there's no goddamn atmosphere to slow things down, and shit gets up to those crazy, crazy, scary speeds, where a bolt would be like not a 50 cal, but maybe an explosion hitting you in the chest. It would just be a tremendous amount of power. I've seen those like hyperspeed videos of like tiny things hitting blocks of steel at those speeds. It plows deep into them and makes like craters like a big bullet hit.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, mass times what speed, velocity, you know,
there's no
huge amount of energy being created.
The when I said 50 cal, I was talking about just the mass itself. The speed, it would be like a 50 cal traveling 5 times faster than a 50 cal.
So it's not good, and we need less space litter.
Less
and
space.
If the Russians are the ones
Force
causing all of it, then we need to get them in line with their space litter.
That's the litter concentration, so more space would do too.
That's what Space Force
check on the Chinese also. We learned the other day how they do plastic in the ocean. I bet they're fucking ruining the skies.
They are. Did you know that? So China did a huge proportion of the space debris out there is from one Chinese test.
Of course.
And the test was, can we destroy a satellite? So rather than do it some responsible way where they put it in the like low Earth orbit and they made sure everything would fall to the ground, they put it way up high, they blew it up, and it's all still out there but scattered about.
What a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
Like they knew what was going to happen. They were already in space. Like they knew the consequences of it falling apart in space.
You know,
if you're good enough to hit a satellite out of space, you're smart enough to know it'll make a mess.
Yeah. I don't buy that lapse in judgment.
I bet if someone wanted someone like India or China or Russia that has the rockets or whatever.
It doesn't support what I said.
Could they ruin space? Could they launch like lots of missiles into space with ball bearings, like huge amounts of ball bearings, and like ruin space effectively for
That's
like?
That's a really good question, because my knee-jerk reaction was
us?
no, space is too big, and then I was like, well. I mean, if they were trying, they could really make it suck, right?
Here's the other thing, and I don't know.
They're definitely good.
So there was initially this idea that, hey, man, y'all are using those Saturn V rockets or whatever they're using to launch these satellites. It's incredibly expensive. Every pound you put up there is costing you like $20,000. Why not a big cannon? Why not a big cannon to blast them into space?
Yes.
We're gonna need some durable satellites, but
Isn't there one where it flings them into space? That one's pretty cool. Or at least
Like a
they're testing
trebuchet.
that.
That'd be fun.
So that's more of a
could
that
back
like
into
space trebuchet idea where like I've seen like simulations of it operating in space, like this arm that's
Battle capture!
but it involves like bringing your space. You have these big rotating arms with mass on one end that orbit the Earth, and they're rotating at very high speeds. And you bring your spaceship along. You attach to the long arm, and you're flung by that to your destination. It's a tremendous amount of energy for free, in that escape velocity.
That's cool.
But the cannon for the satellites was built into the side of a hill because the barrel was so long, you couldn't just have the barrel in the air. It had to be built underground to support the mass of it. But while that turned out not to maybe work for satellites and their sensitive inner workings, if you were just shooting like capsules full of ball bearings that would then release and explode into like the upper atmosphere, like, or into space, whatever, so they would stay up there for a while, like, would you just ruin this space travel for every other developed nation?
Just put the ball bearings over Russia. I don't see what could go wrong.
They're gonna go everywhere, Woody. You ever see a snow globe? Snow globe, Woody.
Like, how would you fix that? Just complete area denial for wherever you wanted it to be.
You have to send up
And
a
if you're
series
India,
of nets.
here's the thing, though. I can't imagine anyone doing that because the world enjoys the wonders of GPS, and they have for the last 40 or 50 years or whatever it's been. Isn't it amazing that we just made that shit free? It's like, hey, world, would you like to always know where you are? America's your guiding light. And we didn't put the stars and stripes on it. We didn't put USA on everything that says GPS. We should have called it USA, not GPS. But how did that happen? This is
Russia has one
cure
too?
for polio.
Yeah. I mean, what sort of information could we gain?
Of course, I would imagine so. I have some kind of backup, or you're kind of in a big.
My watch lets me choose whether I want to use just the American ones or the American and the Russian ones. Like, do you want to use these extra satellites?
How do you feel about the quality of service between the two?
Yeah.
If there
I
is
don't
any.
know. I can't tell. I just add more satellites to the watch and it still takes forever. I'm not sure.
So, like, is it possible that you could like set it up and you'd be like, wow, Russia's getting me to the store a little quicker today. Step it up. Russia's just like ways.
I'm fascinated by your watch technology now. So what can your watch do?
So it has GPS in it, and it can like leave breadcrumbs on the map to where you went and perhaps get you back.
Brilliant.
It uses the GPS to set the altitude because the altitude's based on the barometer. So as the air pressure goes up and down, the watch can't know that you're not going up and down. You have to tell it right
Where
now at this, I'm at 300. And then for the next few hours, it'll be pretty accurate. But in 3 days, it'll be kind of inaccurate.
Yours doesn't have the barometer in it? Oh.
It does. No, but
it does?
Yeah, of course it does. You need a barometer to have an altimeter. But you have to tell it like, like right now, right? Thursday at 8
Yours
p.m.
doesn't use LiDAR.
Thursday at 8 p.m. This is what 300. This is the pressure you find at 300 feet above sea level, and then tomorrow it'll be like, well, now this is the pressure to above 300 feet above sea level.
I love the breadcrumb thing,
but the GPS can set it. So in case you don't know your current altitude where you're standing, the GPS will tell you.
For you.
Yeah.
I guess can you guide yourself out of the wilderness with it? Would it be like, obviously you've got a compass inside of it, I'm sure. I mean, everything's a compass, it seems like. But like, does it have any guidance abilities? Would the arrow just could you be like, take me home, and the arrow always points toward home on your watch, so you could just use it that way? Because that would be enough for me.
That, yeah. Which is useful on a paramotor. I don't have the vision.
I'm liking that watch.
I don't have the vision to really like look at a map. And also I'm flying. I'm literally flying a lawn chair. So like I'm kind of busy right now to stare at the watch for too long. And so anyway, it's really handy to.
What's the price tag on one of those? Is it about $1,400?
No,
Higher?
So this was like this is a good one. It had the sapphire lens and the stealth black whatever, and it was like 500.
Really? That's what my Luminox costs. You know what it does? It glows in the fucking dark and it's waterproof.
with real radium. Yeah.
Holy! I don't think they use the real radium anymore.
No, they don't. Don't you remember those weed commercials? I used to like hanging out with Sarah until she started getting high, and then it was just her on the couch.
Dude, I love those
Sarah's having a dope time right now. Give her a break.
Those commercials made me think that weed must be so fucking crazy because it was like you would put a baby in the microwave on weed. What? It's like I don't think I'd do that. You remember that one, right?
Really hungry.
It's not the microwave; it's the oven, actually. But I think the deal is like the babysitter's getting stoned while the mother's away, and she's like doing a bunch of stuff while she's stoned, and she's supposed to put the turkey in the oven and the baby in its crib. And I think at one point, like she wakes up and hears the smoke alarm going off, and she looks in the crib, and the turkey's in there. Because that's a different commercial.
This is the one I was talking about.
Yeah, I remember the deflated person just out.
Yeah.
I didn't
They let off strong.
None of these ring a bell for me. But what I did see was Nancy Grace on Fox News. She was always banging the drum about how pot made you murderous. It made you want to kill people. And every time a murderer also had like a fucking roach in his ashtray, I maybe use that right.
Yeah,
they're like, this is the cause. Here it is. He went into a murderous rampage because of the marijuana.
Yeah, it's like, well, what was he doing before he got high? And it's like, well, he was a rapist, but it's like okay, I think we narrowed it down.
Some math involved. I'll grant you that.
Yeah. Now that was the original idea. There was a guy, when in the beginning of the space program and everything, when launching satellites, we were trying to figure out how we're going to do this. Which come up with the rocket designs, whether we want the multi rocket systems like the Soviets used, or we wanted fewer rockets. I think the Saturn V maybe uses 5 or something like that. But anyway, it's very expensive to get that satellite into outer space. And there was this one guy that said, well, shit, why are you using rockets and liquid fuel? No, let's build a cannon, an enormous cannon, so goddamn big that we have to bury it because the barrel couldn't even be supported. So they did. They built this gigantic fucking cannon. And the idea was to shoot the satellites into space. But it never got the funding, and it didn't work out. But I think it would have worked. They say it would have.
I'm worried that the acceleration would be like these satellites better not be fragile. Yeah.
Yeah, you would think that. I was going to say the fastest theoretically moving human motivated object ever. Do you know what that is? Mm-hmm. Maybe I phrased that like really poorly, but the fastest thing that people have ever made go.
Voyager,
you know what it is?
or something.
Both picked Voyager.
Okay, well, God damn it, we should have picked a different one.
Nah,
that's the other one I know.
They were doing a nuclear test, and it was an underground nuclear test, and on top there was like this like sewer type lid. Those big, thick, heavy sewer. The Ninja Turtles are always popping up through them. Anyway, one of those was launched straight up by manhole cover. A manhole cover was accelerated to a theoretical speed by the nuclear blast and never recovered. They just did the math and they said, yeah, we've never made anything go that fucking fast before. Like, we didn't measure it. We didn't have a chronometer on it. Nobody certainly saw it, but we can do the math here and see that, yeah, nothing has ever went that goddamn fast before because of us.
Where did it end up? Just in space?
I don't know where it ended up, and I don't think they do either. Now, the next fastest thing we're going to make, Stephen Hawking and the guys over at NASA are coming up with this very tiny spaceship that they're going to send to fucking Alpha Centauri, to the nearest star, right? It travels.
They were talking, Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about that, and they were saying like, oh, is it going to be a spaceship? And he's like, oh, that's a little generous, almost like a chip. Like
it's going to be the size of like a cereal square. Like it's
anything like a quadcopter. They're actually harder to fly when they're smaller.
Straight line. I don't remember how fast it's going, but it's going
this
something
thing
like
into my kitchen
it's like
ceiling.
1/10 the speed of light or something. It's incredibly fast how fast this thing is going to go. So I found that interesting. You know, I like that stuff. I wish I
do with it.
I think maybe it can send signals back despite its small size, and maybe it could tell us something about an Earth-like planet that's there. They keep finding all these Earth-like planets that are in the quote-unquote Goldilocks zone, which is close enough to the sun to be warm and far enough to still have liquid water, etc. And produce oxygen and all that stuff. But I wish there was some way. Would you guys freeze yourselves if you knew that you could be unfrozen at any time?
If I'm terminally ill, I would.
No, that's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm saying, like, there's a store next to Starbucks downtown that's completely reputable, and if you give them $100,000, they will freeze you in a thing, and they will wake you up with 0 side effects at any date of your choice.
No, because you can't go back.
Don't want
like you just like you'd wake up, and I think immediately the feeling of like, I'm in the same place, but this isn't my world. Nobody knows me. I don't know anyone. People have forgotten about me. Like, I don't belong. Like, I think very quickly it would go from, wow, TV shows are crazy in the future, to I'm so lonely, I'm just going to kill myself. Like,
I think I make myself some conservative investments, sell everything I own, freeze myself for 150 years. I think that's how long it's going to take before space.
You're going to wake up and the Zune is going to be the big thing. Finally.
God damn it! They've got me naked in the Museum of Art. They're just I've just been there like my cock on display for 100 years, just like I'm modern art. Like I wake up and I'm just like, and a bunch of kids are fucking taking pictures with their their earphones or whatever they've got by then. No, they're just blinking real hard. It's like Rick and Morty. I am not staring at you. I am a photographer. Please act naturally. I am not staring at you. I am a photographer. Please act naturally.
They even staring. Have like you know how they give names to the ancient people, like Lucy. They'll be like, the Georgian, an ancient man.
Yeah, they need to be out there fucking building shit and like learning math. Like I feel like I would love to see that experiment in some sort of charter school or something, where like some private school where like. For math, let's have them do construction projects. There's tons of math in construction. You get out a measuring tape. I mean, you want to talk about learning fractions? Some people struggle with learning fractions. You get out that measuring tape, you're going to learn fast. I mean, it's one big fraction.
Yeah.
And if you mess
really
up,
should have more stuff
and when you get the wrong answer, you don't have to go to a teacher to find out. You're like. No, that was wrong. That is definitely wrong. Let's go back to the drawing board and cut again.
That'd be cool. And over like 15 years later, the recess is just littered with tree houses everywhere. It looks like a Brazilian slum.
Or what we did like at my high school is like all the projects that we would create in our welding, automotive, and wood shop classes, and we made big projects. We would build like very long cattle trailers, the kind you would see going down the road pulled behind a fifth wheel truck full of cows. We'd build those from scratch with just steel stock. We'd cutting the steel to length, welding it together. We'd build gazebos. I'm sure we all know what that is, like a backyard little hangout spot, and auction those off. We'd build all that stuff and sell it, and then that funding went right back into our program. So like we had the best shit. We had the best welders. We had the best nail guns. We had the best saws. Like there was no like wanting for anything.
But like what you were saying of like the practicality of building helped you understand all that shit. Like you learned better because there was, number one, like a physical, tangible payoff that you have a vested interest in getting it, and then you're actually building it. Like you learn stuff better when you're doing it with your hands and like getting that muscle memory in a way.
Well, my dad always made me learn like around the household like skills like plumbing and basic electrical and carpentry, because like he's kind of got a self-reliance thing about him, and he wouldn't want to call somebody to come fucking fix a piece of 3/4-inch pipe that's cracked under his house. It's just like, come on, this is a 10-minute job that requires 3 different tools. Let's just learn how to do it. And I don't know. So I guess I learned a lot of things like that growing up that were probably somewhat educational. But by the time I was in high school, I knew my fractions, and I didn't, I could operate the measuring tape anyway. There were guys who couldn't, though. There were plenty of guys that I remember in that construction class that you'd have to measure their fucking wood for them.
I was thinking about this. I just came into my head. Do you remember anything from school that you were taught? Like, what's the biggest thing you were taught in school that's now totally debunked? Because I know all of us were taught that Pluto was a planet.
Yeah.
And then like 3, maybe 4 years. No, it's like 5 years after they taught me Pluto was a planet. They're like, nope, changed our mind. Like,
I want to say diet stuff has changed a lot. It's changed
that changes
so much
every
over the
3
course
years.
of my lifetime that I no longer like trust any of it. The new thing I keep hearing, and the people who say it are absolutely douchebags, is this like, well, it's the law of thermodynamics, right? Calories in, calories out. That's just the only fucking answer there could possibly be. Oh my God, you dick shit. Like, you know, the human body processing different kinds of energy and, you know, keeping some of it, shitting out the rest is a lot. Like, it doesn't strictly follow the law of thermodynamics. Like, it's not that obvious, right?
But what is the variance? Because
there's
that's
some
highly
things that are going to
important.
pass right through, right? You know, that the body just has no use for, like the outsides of fucking corn. The notion that, oh, you know, calories in, calories out. A calorie is, if I have my thing right, you dehydrate it, you burn it, and you see just how much it can raise the temperature of water, right? Like 1 calorie raises 1 cc of water by 1 degree centigrade or something close to that.
Very close to that, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, there are some foods, like for me in particular, frosted mini wheats seem to have very little time here in Woody Land. You know, they like, you know, I don't know.
Well,
that
a lot of fiber. You're getting a lot of fiber there.
Exactly.
Here's what I think.
But fiber's
Here's what
flammable as fuck, right? So I don't know that you can just say, like the frosted mini wheats, for example, would burn very completely and heat up water just totally well. But I'm just saying that the human body is a little more complicated than how well it burns in its dehydrated state. And I'm confident in this. Go forward 5-6 years, and the notion that everyone clings to now with so much like cocksuredness is going to be dismissed for the next one.
So I disagree on this one because I think the deal is this. I agree that our bodies are more and or less efficient at processing certain types of foods, kinds of foods, depending on maybe if you drink, you know, maybe if you eat that hamburger and they consume a gallon of water right behind it, there's a different effect of caloric intake, fat.
Compared to no water. Could be, right?
Yeah, could be. But my point and my thought process on this is that the difference is so minimal that over the course of, say, a 3-month-long diet, it's minuscule. Like the difference in weight gain and weight loss between the individual who was more efficient than normal and less efficient than normal is like a pound or something. Like I think we're talking about the difference in like an engine that spark plug skips that skips 50 times a day.
Like to tag on to what you're saying, like I don't remember where I read it.
Wasting a little.
I don't remember where I read it, but to like add on to what Kyle's saying, I saw something that was like, you know, the difference between a good fast metabolism and a slow bad metabolism is way, way smaller than people think. Like it was saying there's like a 300 to 400 calorie difference between a real, no, I know, but most people think like that person can eat 2,000 calories a day and I can only eat 1,000. Like it's like 300 calories is really only this container of peanuts right here per day. And yeah, that adds up quick, but
so I got a couple things to say. Yeah. One, 300 calories a day, you said 300 to 400, but we'll take the lower number, is gigantic. Like when people gain weight, they're gaining like 10 pounds a year
the biggest
over
amount.
The course of like 10 years, you know, like, and now all of a sudden they're 100 pounds overweight. The example you made is every 11 days they cut a pound. Like that is ginormous. That's not actually a small amount of calories. Now, I know you said that's the high end, but whatever. And the other thing is, like I suspect, and I'm not a scientist, that they're going to, that at some point they'll go back to like, oh yeah, 150 calories from like trans fats is a totally different thing that your body very efficiently like turns into ugly fat on your belly compared to 100 calories from an apple. Then, you know, that it's not as simple.
But I think that getting bogged down into this in the science of it is a mistake, and it's something that people who, and I'm not saying this about you because we're just trying to understand the science behind this. It is an interesting topic. I think that fat people are very likely to start looking for these complex scientific biological explanations for why, these excuses for why this happened, that happened. Sure, maybe you do have a slightly slower than normal metabolism, Well, dude, that means that I get to eat a bag of peanuts once a day and you don't. That is your new life. It's not as if I told you, nah, dude, you get 1 meal a day while everybody else gets 3. You're on a starvation plan for the rest of your life because your metabolism is so slow. That's what they want to make you think. They want to make it seem like, oh no, I eat 3 pieces of cantaloupe for breakfast and some oatmeal, and then I have brown rice and steamed fish for lunch, and then for dinner I have apple slices for dessert, of course, but usually dinner is more brown rice and maybe a bit of grilled beef, but I drain all the fat out and I drink a gallon of water a day. But my metabolism is just so slow that I put on 3 pounds doing that. That's horse shit. That's just
it's
horse
like
shit.
you're being a fibber. Yeah, it's like people who are fat also.
By the way, that's what you should be
wildly-
eating, fat people. What I just listed, you're probably like, well, that's not a meal. That's not a day's worth of food. That's literally what you should be doing. That's your diet. Do it.
Fat people also really underestimate how much they're eating, and thin people, like you've known thin people before. We all know that rail of a guy who's like, I just can't put on any weight. I had a friend who was 6'4", 140 pounds. 6'4", 140 pounds. He was a rail. And every time we talked, like when we saw each other intermittently, be like, hey, I thought you were going to start working out or something, man. Like, you're real thin. He's like, I just can't put any weight on, dude. And I hang out with him for a couple days, and it's like, yeah, no shit. Like in his head, he's like, God, I've been eating all day. Like we just finished eating, and now you want a snack? But in everybody else's head, it's like, dude, you ate half of your burger, you ate part of your chicken breast for dinner, and then as your big splurge snack, you had a regular size Snickers at 11:30. And in his head, he's like, oh, Snickers, like of course I'll get fat. And then the fat guy, on the other hand, is like, well, if I have 13 apples, it's still only, I don't know, 60 calories. So I'll just do that. Actually, I'll just grind them up. That'll make it easier. Add a little bit of sugar. I'm not a savage.
You know, candy apples are good, and I've got the candy.